Hi everyone, this is Marla at Twinstrology, and this is a channeled reading for twin flames on the full moon in Scorpio that's happening Friday, April 22nd, 2016 at 1:24 a.m. So before I talk about the full moon, I think we really need to talk about the rulers of the full moon, and that's Mars and Pluto. Both of those planets went retrograde earlier this week, one day apart. Mars in Sagittarius and Pluto in Capricorn. So, the more important planet we need to look at here is Mars. Mars only goes retrograde about every 2 years. So, on April 17th, he went retrograde at 8:54 Sagittarius. And he's going back through Sag, back into Scorpio to 23 degrees. He'll go direct on June 29th and then leave his shadow again on August 22nd, meaning he'll get back to the degree of 8:54 and then the retrograde will officially be over. So we also have Saturn in Sagittarius going retrograde at the same time. And as most of you know, Saturn was going through Scorpio for several years, from 2012 to 2015. And in that time, he was trying to uncover all of our hidden fears that we needed to get rid of before we could move forward. But now it's kind of like he's come up to some fears, and now he needs to go back. There's still beliefs that are hindering our progress. Sagittarius is the sign of our beliefs. So now we have these two big planets going retrograde, looking at what beliefs we still have that are holding us back. And it's like we didn't even know we had these beliefs. We thought we cleared everything out, but apparently we didn't. There's still some beliefs that are really, really buried deeply within us or embedded within us that we haven't quite shed. So Saturn and Mars are working on this, and Saturn is having Mars go back further, going back into Scorpio, going back into our psyche to really get to the root. What's really buried within us that's blocking us? And these are probably some very, very deep issues that we're talking about here. Not only, issues from our childhood, but probably issues going back to past lives. Stuff that is so deep we might not even know exactly what our fears and blocks really are. So this is going to be a time where we're really uncovering deep and hidden things. Pluto as well is in Capricorn, and Pluto also rules our transformation. And we can't really become everything we need to be until we get rid of these inner fears. And I think Pluto is really going to bring up some painful memories for us. Feelings of abandonment, being regretful, self-blame. We'll probably be feeling trapped. We really need to take a hard look at ourselves and make some cuts. Pluto's in the 10th house. He's in Capricorn. This is about our legacy. So while Pluto's retrograde, we're thinking about what our legacy is. And are we staying true to what we hope to build as far as our legacy, or do we need to make some cuts? So it's going to be a challenging time. So now getting back to the full moon, I believe the full moon is going to illuminate something for us regarding the area of what we're going to be looking at and dealing with as far as the Mars and Pluto retrograde. Likely, this is going to have something to do with relationships. Scorpio is the house of intimacy. It's what we desire, our passions, our sexuality, things that are hidden, things that are secret, things that are mystical. It's wanting to get to the bottom of things, wanting to go deeply into things. Scorpio is not interested in anything that's superficial. Scorpio wants our transformation. The sun is in Taurus. The Taurus energy is what we value as far as our possessions, and what we value in ourselves, our self esteem, our skills. Scorpio is where we take our values and our possessions and we merge them with someone else. It's where we really want to connect deeply on a soul level with another. And I'd have to say, if there was any sign that represented twin flames, it would be Scorpio, because that is that deep soul merging with another person. And so you may come up with some issues that have to do with your twin relationship. Could also be issues of any karmic relationships that are blocking you from your twin union. Scorpio is also a very psychic house, so watch for psychic messages, dreams, visions, anything coming from spirit. Watch for people mirroring things to you, triggering you, trying to show you things that are likely unconscious that need to be brought to the surface. And you want to deal with these triggers in a very conscious way. So it's a time not to come from your ego. And sometimes, well, at this time, let's say, that might be difficult because with Mars and Pluto both going retrograde, there can be a lot of pent up frustrations and emotions, especially, I think, in the beginning of the retrograde. Hopefully, that energy will settle down as we go into it. But I think a lot of people, and especially men or any person that holds a strong masculine energy, anyone that has a lot of Aries or a lot of Scorpio in their chart, especially could be feeling a lot of frustration. Go easy on people, have a lot of compassion at this time. Scorpio is also about a crisis, so there could be some kind of crisis that comes up, trying to show you something about your relationship. Now, the ruler of the sun is Venus, and Venus is making a lot of aspects this week as she goes through the sign of Aries. She's going to be trining Saturn, squaring Pluto, and at the time of the moon, she's coming up to a conjunction with Uranus. And Venus is very direct in Aries. She's willing to speak her mind. So we have kind of the feminine energy here and the masculine both being a little bit touchy. So again, tread carefully. And this week might not be the best week if you're thinking about kind of reaching out to your twin flame, or if you do reach out to them and things are tense. Try not to take it personally. Just realize that everyone's energy is kind of on high alert right now. And, back off for a while. The energy will settle down a bit, I think. And, a week or two, things might be more stable that way. So Venus is at this conjunction with Uranus. So anything can happen. Okay, you could get something unexpected is likely to happen. It could be some insight or could be some revelation with Mars going retrograde and Mercury in his shadow getting ready to go retrograde. Someone from the past could suddenly appear back in your life. You could hear from someone. Mercury is also going to be aspecting the nodes of fate at the time of the full moon. So, again, messages could come through. Venus is going to be on the Sabian symbol, a boxer entering the ring. So, like I said, she's very direct. And on this Sabian, she's kind of defensive or ready to kind of attack someone. She's not going to be in a good mood, okay? She's going to be ready to take a swing at someone. And the masculine energy with it, both Pluto and Mars. Pluto's the higher octave of Mars. So these both are masculine drive. It's being kind of thwarted and frustrated right now because, Mars is also a very direct planet. It's not used to having to wait around, having to go backwards and redo things. It wants to just go, go, go. So, yeah, Venus is on this very volatile Sabian. So, high tensions. And then Uranus is on the Sabian. The gate opens to the garden of all fulfilled desires. So this Sabian has a sexual connotation to it. And Venus will be meeting up with Uranus probably the next day. So, probably on the weekend, even things will begin to look better. So with Uranus, again, there could be some sudden insight regarding your desires. You may find that what you desire is somehow not um, is somehow not congruent with what you value. So if you're in a karmic relationship, yeah, you have a twin that you want to be with, obviously what you're desiring and what you're valuing, maybe you don't, um, maybe monogamy and things are very important to you. Well, how are you going to bring that into alignment? Or how are you going to get your desires filled if you're in a karmic relationship and yet you have this twin? Or if you're not in a relationship with your twin? How are your desires affecting you at this time? We also have the asteroid Juno going retrograde, widely conjunct the moon, and Lilith in Libra also widely conjunct the moon. And both of these goddesses have to do with um, well, Lilith wants to break free. Lilith wants equality. She wants men and women to be equal, especially when she's in the sign of Libra. But according to myth, Lilith was Adam's first wife, and they were both made out of the earth, and yet she would not subjugate herself to him. And so she was thrown out of the Garden of Eden and replaced by Eve, who was made out of Adam's flesh instead of also being made from the earth. And she was villainized for wanting equality with Adam. Then on the other side of the moon, we have Juno in Scorpio. And Juno was the wife of Jupiter. And she gave up her sovereignty in order to become Jupiter's wife. And she did that because she wanted to merge. She wanted a sacred connection with Jupiter. But that isn't what she got, because Jupiter, he was out having affairs and having children with other people. He didn't honor Juno. There was not equality in the relationship. And Juno ended up becoming a woman that was jealous and scorned. So we also have these kind of goddess energies trying to bring equality. I'm both dealing with a sacred sexual connection, flanking the moon. And I also want to talk about the asteroid Union. I talked about Union before, and Union represents a union between twins. Okay, and I look at it in the chart to kind of give us more information about how physical reunion is coming. And right now, Union is retrograde. I believe Union went retrograde on April 9th at 24 degrees of Sagittarius. And it's going retrograde till August 4th. And right now, Union is squaring the nodes. It's squaring Chiron. It's trining Uranus. So making a lot of aspects. And it's going back as well in the sign of Sagittarius, along with Saturn and Mars. So we're confronting a lot of issues within our union at this time. Because it's squaring the nodes, we're dealing with past life issues and reconciling that into this life. And we're aspecting Chiron, so we're dealing with soul wounds and pains and hurts that have occurred in our union. And then we have this trine with Uranus. So again, you could have something unexpected occurring with your twin at this time. So the interesting thing with union that I'm seeing is that it's going back through Sagittarius, and it's going back and it's meeting up with both Saturn and Mars on August 23rd. And what's happening is when Saturn goes direct and Mars gets out of his retrograde, both Saturn and Mars are coming together at 9 degrees Sagittarius. And they're saying, okay, guys, we did it. We cleaned out everything. And now we're ready to move forward. And joining them there at that time is union. Um, so Mars and Saturn are starting a new cycle. But it's a very interesting sign that union is going to be conjunct them as they start this new cycle. So I think that is a very good sign for twins, that we're going to have released a lot of beliefs that are blocking our unions from occurring. And I also want to mention that as Mars and Pluto are retrograde, this is going to be opening up the masculine halves to be more receptive to the feminine energies. And as they open themselves up, they're going to be more connected to spirit. Um, I feel their crown chakras, their third eye chakras, heart chakras are going to be able to open more. They're going to be receiving more guidance. Mars is going retrograde on the star Antares. And Antares is connected to Archangel Uriel, who is also, his name means fire of God. Or God is my light. And Uriel is associated with wisdom and brings us new ideas, new information, sudden insight. He's also associated with alchemy. And I'm just thinking he also is the angel that stands with a flaming sword at the Garden of Eden. And that came to my mind when I was thinking about that Sabian that Uranus is on, about the garden of all fulfilled desires. So Uriel is going to help us get some more insight. He also helps us release these painful memories and burdens from the past and helps us find blessings in our adversity. So call on Archangel Uriel. And that time that I'm talking about when Saturn and Mars and Union all meet again is going to be on this star Antares. We also have the asteroid Pythia retrograding in Sagittarius right now too. And Pythia gives us psychic insight. The Pythia was the oracle of Delphi. That's related to psychic connections. So we do have a lot of energy here giving us inner wisdom. Now is a time to really depend on yourself for what you're feeling and what's best in your union. And lastly, I want to mention that the asteroid Atlantis is going to be conjunct the sun at the time of the full moon. And Atlantis has been traveling with the sun for a while. And this is bringing in Atlantis energies back to Earth. And this was the time when we were in union and in love and bliss with our twins. And I see that this is representing us coming back together with full union with our twins now. Lots of very promising energy, although it may be difficult, especially for the next few weeks while we get used to the retrograde energy. You know, take time to look inward right now. Take time to focus on yourself. Take time to do self-care. Make sure you do a releasing ceremony at this full moon and work especially on releasing those things that you know are blocking you from your union. And I'd also suggest keeping a journal of the things that come up while Mars is retrograde so that we can work on overcoming these inner obstacles. So if you would like a personal reading with me, you can visit my website at eclipseastro.com and follow me on Facebook at Twinstrology. And also I have another Facebook page at Eclipse Astrology and Tarot. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you soon.